I was recently told that this 3.3 rule rewards lazy people. I thought, let's address that because the reality is this is not for lazy people, but I get it if someone's mind is squarely planted in the hustle culture. I could understand why they think it's that way, but I want to talk through it. And I actually want to use a really old fable because I feel like it helps me with this point. Disney created it. They weren't the original, but they called it the Tortoise and the Hare. The original fable is actually called The Hare and the Tortoise, and thanks to the Library of Congress, anyone can access this on their website. So it's really short. I just want to read it to you, and then we'll get into how this relates to the 3.3 rule and laziness. The Hare and the Tortoise. A hare was making fun of the tortoise one day for being so slow. "Do you ever get anywhere?" he asked with a mocking laugh. "Yes," replied the tortoise, "and I get there sooner than you think. I'll run you a race and prove it." The hare was much amused at the idea of running a race with the tortoise, but for the fun of the thing, he agreed. So the fox, who had consented to act as judge, marked the distance and started the runners off. The hare was soon far out of sight, and to make the tortoise feel very deeply how ridiculous it was for him to try to race with a hare, he lay down beside the course to take a nap until the tortoise should catch up. The tortoise, meanwhile, kept going slowly but steadily, and after time passed the place where the hare was sleeping. But the hare slept on very peacefully, and when at last he did wake up, the tortoise was near the goal. The hare now ran his swiftest, but he could not overtake the tortoise. These fables end with, I guess, the moral that the author wanted to leave with you. And in this case, the moral reads, "The race is not always to the swift." Another way to say that success or victory isn't necessarily guaranteed to the person who seems like the most capable or the fastest or the strongest or the smartest. I asked ChatGPT, and Mr. GPT says, "It's often used as an encouragement to keep striving, even when others may appear more equipped, because success isn't solely determined by obvious advantages." And then I had always heard growing up the phrase "slow and steady wins the race." And in fact, my wife grew up with kind of the opposite saying haste makes waste. On some level, both of those are kind of true. And so hustle culture took this fable, made it their own. One of the ways I look at it is I say, well, the reality is all competitive racing is to the swift, meaning the fastest always wins. Think about every single race in the Olympics, like Olympics or maybe college track and field. Any of those races, the fastest person always wins. That's the winner. Slow and steady may mean win the race only if the most capable isn't steady. And then here is this really well-worded phrase I found. "Consistency matters, but passion and relentless effort ignite extraordinary results." When you show up and give your all every single time, you don't just beat slow and steady, you redefine the race. Oh man, that sounds good. That sounds really good. This is a common situation though, where especially that really well-worded phrase is truth mingled with sensational untruths. I mean, if we stop for a second, the whole fable could have been avoided if the hare didn't take an undefined break. So when we take breaks that we define, meaning we give intention to the break, we are able to come back to work with the ability to be focused. The science says, slow and steady, if you did that way, that your work efficiency is going to drop drastically because we are not created to do things slow and steady. Our brains actually cycle from a state of focus to a state of distractibility. So slow and steady means we are trying to force ourselves to work through one of those periods or multiple of those periods where our brain is actually in a cycle of distractibility. Guess who's going to be super inefficient? Everybody. When your brain is cycling through distractibility and you're like, oh, I'm slow and steady, I'm just going to keep hustling through this, grinding it out, you're wasting your time and your work product is not going to be very good. I think consistency does matter, but consistency doesn't mean uninterrupted effort. So if we're consistent with work blocks where we're focused as much as we can, no more than 3 hours at a time, that's what the science supports, and we consistently follow that by a recovery block, that's consistency. Passion and relentless effort, as the phrase said, can ignite extraordinary results. But that relentless effort doesn't mean nonstop work. You can be relentless while still taking breaks. In fact, the science supports the only way to truly be relentless, where you're able to give 100% focused effort, can only be accomplished by taking breaks. And while it's physically possible to give your all, like your 100% effort every single time, it is not possible that full effort is 100% of your capability. The studies show that in as little as 25 minutes up to 3 hours, people's ability to be 100% focused declines. And if you aren't 100% focused, how can you claim that's 100% of your effort? So this idea of all the time, it doesn't work. Now, we believe that all team members need to produce a positive ROI to the business. It's the only way to have a profitable business. And look, most of us don't have investors that are willing to continually fund business losses that allow us to stay open. We're going to leave that to the Ubers of the world. So if we want to stay in business, we need to have that profit. And that's why the 3.3 rule and our 3.3 system encourages everyone to be passionate and relentless, be consistent, but do that in the framework and boundaries of work blocks, followed by being equally passionate and relentless and consistent with intentional breaks. So the work product is better and our quality of life is better. And I think that makes it a win-win, which is what we're all looking for. If you want to dive deeper into these topics, you can check out the book. The links are below. And thanks for watching. And we'll see you in the next one.